Today we'll be talking about audio recording, and in this case the audio quality between the Zoom F2 and the Zoom H1n. Hi, my name's Matt, and recently I've decided to start a new business. And I thought I'd document that whole process so you can learn from my successes and avoid my mistakes. If that sounds like your cup of tea, do me a favor and subscribe. When it comes to audio, there's a lot of competition on the market. You can spend $50 to $5,000 and have decent audio both ways. And for the normal consumer who's watching on his mobile, you don't really see a big difference. So I've decided to go with a small lavalier or lapel mic recorder. For the last few years, basically, I've used the Zoom H1n and I was always quite happy. Now, recently I needed some upgrades in some particular use cases, which led me to buy the Zoom F2. And to get this out of the way straight at the beginning, this video isn't sponsored. I've paid for them with my own money, so this is my honest opinion. The Zoom F2 has a lot to offer for the price tag. And to give you some of the highlights before we jump into a closer comparison, the Zoom F2 is one of the first recorders who offers 32-bit float, which means you don't have to set gain or anything. You can all do it in post. It's really tiny and can fit in almost any pocket, and the attached belt clip makes it easy to attach it to your belt. It supports up to 512 GB of storage on a micro SD card, which is quite nice for really long usage without emptying or formatting the card. It has batteries, and this makes it easy, so even if you run out of batteries, you can just swap them on the spot, on the go, without having to recharge the recorder. Also, if you use the Bluetooth version of the Zoom F2, you get an Android or iPhone app, which can be used to start and stop the recording and set minor settings for the Zoom F2. And of course, you get a lapel mic included in the package, which can be screwed onto the Zoom F2 recorder to make sure it doesn't come off. So let's start with the audio test before we jump into the details between the two devices. This is the audio quality straight out of the Zoom F2 without any post-processing. Audio test 1, 2, 3, audio test 1, 2, 3. This is the Zoom F2 audio recorder. This is the Zoom H1n without any post-processing. Audio test 1, 2, 3, audio test 1, 2, 3. This is the Zoom H1n audio recorder without any post-processing. Let's compare the two devices. First, we start off with the Zoom H1n. And the benefits of this device, obviously price. It's quite cheaper than the Zoom H1n, coming in at about 99 euros. It has a lot more physical buttons, which you can use to adjust anything you like, from low cut to gain to audio recording quality to file format. All of these you can do straight at the device. It records in stereo or mono, which is quite nice, to be honest. It can be used as a microphone by itself because it has a built-in microphone and doesn't rely on you using a lapel mic. There are some cons which led me to buy a new device. The first con is it's quite big and not easy to fit into a pocket, especially when there's a cable dangling on one of the sides. The microphone can't be screwed onto the device, which makes it easy to come off, which has happened to me on occasion. Another thing is that you have to set the gain manually on the device itself, and if you make a mistake by setting the gain, your audio will suffer. It only supports 32 GB of SD cards, micro SD. This is quite limiting. You have to switch cards or delete and format the card more often. Also, it has no belt clip, so you have to put it in the pocket or use the 1/4 inch screw mount to put it onto a tripod or so. The Zoom F2, on the other hand, has some pros and cons as well, obviously. The biggest pros for me is the fact that it records in 32-bit float, which means there's no gain setting or anything like that. I can attach the lapel mic with a screw, so it doesn't come off when pulling it. It has an app if you use the Bluetooth version, which makes it easy to remote control the device. There's a lapel mic included in the box, which is quite decent, and the card holds up to 512 gigabytes. But there are some negative things about the F2 as well. For one, the price. It's in the Bluetooth version, it's double the price from the Zoom H1n. It only records in mono, so you have to switch the channels in post so that you can hear it on both ears. And the build quality is quite cheap. I'm not too confident that it will last long, to put it mildly. The battery casing is flimsy and plasticky and feels like it will break every time you swap the battery. This might be on my device only. I can't remove the SD card. Usually there's a spring mechanism which lets you remove the SD card quite easily. In my case, this seems to be broken. It doesn't affect the recording or anything, and I can transfer the data via USB-C to my computer, but I can't get the micro SD card out. I've plugged in a 128 gig micro SD card, so I should be fine. But keep in mind that the transfer speed is only about 2 megabit per second, which is horrendously slow for USB-C. Besides these negative points, I'm quite happy with the quality I get from the Zoom F2. And in my daily workflow, it will make it quite easy for me to remote control it via the mobile app and eliminate one point of, well, possible error by not hitting record or stopping the recording from the person I'm mic'd up, or I have mic'd up. So I hope this comparison helps and helps you to make an educated buying decision. One thing I have to add, you need an extra lapel mic with this Zoom H1n, which will bring the cost up to about 150 euros or 200 euros, depending on the mic you're getting, which will put it in the same price category as the Zoom F2. And in this case, the Zoom F2 is definitely the better buy.